You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily represent those of the network, its advertisers, owners, or sponsors.
Hey, episode 247 of the IT and the D Show. We got Motor City Comic-Con this weekend. Jam-packed guest lineup tonight.
Didn't we just go through a whole weekend of no sleeping?
We did. No, we'll be fine. We're resting for this.
The toothpicks in your eyelids tell me you're not going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah, this is what we've trained for.
So segments 2 and 3, we're going to be joined by Todd Haberkorn. He's a voice actor for Dragon Ball Z and Call of Duty. Arvell Jones, the absolute legend, Marvel and DC comic writer from the 70s through the 90s. Black Panther, Iron Man, Thor. I'm
he's a great chat.
Absolutely. Cameron Reynolds, Kool-Aid Cam. He's a comic book author from Detroit. Also a rapper. Should be a fun conversation. And Dexter Vines. He's been a 20-year veteran of the comic industry. He's been an anchor for Superman, Batman, all the bigs. Should be a fun show.
Very cool.
But hey, this support for today's show comes from our buddies at Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is your hub for teamwork in Office 365 with so much to look after. Wouldn't it be great if there was just one place to look? Teams is
Mother of God, yes, it would be.
What, emailing Excel sheets isn't the way to go anymore?
No, apparently not. No matter how regardless of how we actually deal with the state and our vendors. Yeah.
Hey, Teams is that single workplace where you can work, share, and connect with the people in your work life. Brings together chats, meetings, files, apps, all in one place. Take teamwork wherever you work with apps for mobile and desktop. Whether you're sprinting towards a deadline, sharing your next big idea, Teams can help you and your team achieve even more. Do us a favor. Go visit office.com/teams to learn more. That's office.com/teams. Dave, you may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun? Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit! No, please! Anything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
So what happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bumhole?
Exactly. Come on. Someone tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the show.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT and the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science. So, Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Are we at a break yet?
Hey, everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT and the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds?
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. The IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
Hey, everybody, this is Tony Todd. What's happening? You may know me from Candyman, The Rock, Sushi Girls, Zoom, Night of the Living Dead. A lot of pop culture media madness. Anyway, you're listening to IT in the D Show. Business.
I'm totally into Dave, but not so much Bob.
This is Robert Hayes, the Ted Stryker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at my gumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Hi, this is David Kay, the voice of Megatron from Beast Wars.
Excellent, yes.
And of course Clank from Ratchet and Clank.
And Grandpa Max from the new Ben 10. Yes, Professor Xavier from X-Men Evolution. Storm! Logan, where is Storm? Storm! Come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm. Yes. You're listening to IT and the D. Don't go away.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Oh!
Hi, this is Bruce Pritchard. You're listening to, what the hell, the IT and the D Show? What kind of name is that? But just in case you were wondering, I do love you.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
Welcome back. Thank you again for listening to us. This is the one and only IT in the D Show. We made it all the way to episode 247. This is the show before the granddaddy of them all, the Motor City Comic Con. We are hanging out in Podcast Detroit in Studio One in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. It's Bob the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, and Randy I Do the Twitters Walker. Find us online, itinthed.com, and do us a favor. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, so this single router Wi-Fi model just doesn't work anymore for our increasingly high bandwidth world. What you need is a distributed system, and that's what brings you to Eero. So whatever your Wi-Fi needs, Eero has the power to seamlessly blanket your home in fast, reliable Wi-Fi via Ethernet, wireless, or any combination. Simply set it on a flat surface or plug it into a wall outlet to expand coverage into any room. Not to mention, with the addition of a third 5 gigahertz radio, the second generation Eero is now tri-band and twice as fast as its predecessor, which lets customers do more in every room of their home simultaneously. And with the addition of a new thread radio, Eero can now connect to low power devices such as locks, doorbells, and other sensors. Meanwhile, Eero Beacon is half the size, but is even more incredible and even more powerful than the original Eero. Whichever model you choose, with Eero's incredible customer support, you can get a hold of a Wi-Fi expert within 30 seconds. Bob, I hear you put that to the test.
I did.
Because Bob.
No, my kids were in absolute hell because Wi-Fi was out, so I go troubleshoot.
What am I going to do? I have no Wi-Fi, Dad.
They did. Their Snapchats were like, I'm in hell. It's amazing what kids have to go through these days. And what I found out was my APC battery pack died. It's about 5 years old.
Yeah.
And didn't know. So here I am doing every diagnostics check known to man. I'm calling support and they're like, dude, finally, I got an email from Eero going, looks like you fixed it. I'll close this file.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and not openly mock you, but.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah.
Like they follow up proactively on your customer service case?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Dude.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, hey, for free overnight shipping to the U.S. or Canada, visit Eero.com. That's EERO.com. Select overnight as the shipping option and then enter IT in the D. That's all one word, IT in the D at checkout. That's Eero.com, EERO.com. Offer code IT in the D at checkout. Thanks, guys. Love your shit. Really
Absolutely. It's best. Hey, do us a favor. Mark your calendars. This Thursday, we're going to be at Embrew. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Dude, so Wednesday, Thursday, we're at MMC. We're at a security conference.
At Merit.
Yeah, with Merit. So we got that going on. We'll be interviewing people. Then Thursday night is our event at Embrew. Then later Thursday night is set up for Motor City Comic Con. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is Motor City Comic Con.
I'm kind of glad I'm going to Denver this weekend.
Mother of God.
I don't know how.
I don't even know how we're going to pull through. All I know is we're going to have a lot of drinks and we're going to chat a lot with Zapka. That's all I want to do.
Lots of Red Bull.
Is chat. You know what? I'm trying to wean myself
trying
off
to kick
it.
the Red Bull habit?
I really, really am. I'm convinced like the migraine from hell that I had the other day was probably blood pressure / caffeine induced.
Or the heart palpitations.
Or no, actually I haven't had those.
Oh,
no, I haven't had those. But yeah.
So if you think about it though, Zabka is without Machio, Martin Cove. He's without, what's her name? The hot blonde. And Aquaman,
right?
Brittany Daniel,
oh yeah,
right. So it's like We might have Zapka all to ourselves.
He'll be all ours.
He's got Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. So I mean, that's going to be a tough one not to crack. But hopefully,
So I mean, dude, I want to talk to him because I think we lightly touched on it last week. The whole Cobra Kai thing. I binged the hell out of it. It is amazing.
It says the only reason you subscribe to YouTube Red, right?
Me too.
Well,
Both of you.
Oh yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Like now that I have it, the whole like play stuff in the background when you have other apps open and all that, and no ads, I'm kind of digging it. It's worth it. That's worth it in and of itself. But no, so dude, holy shit, did they do such an amazing job?
Knocked it out of the park
with that miniseries. Like,
and they wrote it proper. They didn't
ignore the past.
No, and anything you thought was going to happen, they basically no.
Yeah,
like they do. Okay. You know.
And a couple of good plot twists to keep you on your toes.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Well, no. I thought you meant what you thought was going to happen based on the past.
Oh no, just in general.
So when you think you have it figured out, you don't.
Totally.
And I'm sorry. Episode 9, the episode with when Machio and Zapka are sitting there in the bar, is just. Dude, that was outstanding.
When they had that bonding moment in the car, and you're like, "Oh, this is good."
Oh yeah, And how? By the way, I do want to figure out how much money Coors gave them.
Banquet,
dude. We're bringing an empty box of Coors to have him
one's gonna
sign.
Get that reference except for us.
I don't care.
Yeah, that means you have to buy Banquet.
That's okay, and then we'll throw the beer away.
Here's the crazy stat I read. Ralph Macchio is 56 years old right now.
Yeah.
Pat Morita in the original Karate Kid was 52. So just think about that for a minute.
Yeah, sort of like Luke is now older than Obi-Wan was when,
Right. Alec Guinness, is he really?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Why did old guys look so old when we were kids?
Because our definition of old is now creeping up, Bob, because now we're getting dangerously close to it, so we just keep bumping it out.
I got all this gray hair, but I don't look like Obi-Wan for crying out loud. Still a pup. Oh, and then by the way, this is another fun conversation I had with my children. Leroy Jenkins turned 13 this weekend.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that is, that's the guy it's one of the more famous video game clips of all time. It's one of the original viral video game clips of World of Warcraft, where they're these group of and all I can say is nerd. These guys are plotting their destruction course into this room.
Oh, it was amazing.
And they're equipping and they're like talking and they're like it was the most serious moment of these guys' life.
Oh yeah.
And this guy's like, screw it, I'm going in, yells Leroy Jenkins. I show it to my kid because I wanted hey, here's some history. She's like, oh, that's a meme. I go, no, it's just a video. It's a meme. I go, it turned into a meme. It's this never-ending argument I have with my daughter that everything's a meme.
I think every Kids Day episode we've ever had has been us arguing with your daughter about what's a meme.
Like Toto Africa is not a meme, it's a song from the 80s.
It's following me around lately. Like everywhere I go, that song is right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
There was a picture, that viral picture went up about some class of whatever class of 2018 that made it their class song.
That's amazing.
And like a couple people got together and said, what would you think in the future if we think it's great, so everybody's like writing graffiti on the we don't want this as a class song. They're like, yes we do.
For the love of God, stop.
So here's the thing, we've been in technology since we've been 12, 13 years old,
right?
If not sooner. We've seen a lot of things. There's some of those moments in your life where you have to just stop and stare,
elaborate, and listen.
And I'm not even going to acknowledge you said that, and just like jaw drop at how amazing this happened. And last week, Google introduced Duplex, which is their AI, and it's not just for AI. It integrates with Assistant.
Yep.
And basically, it mimics actual human conversations. So it's not like, hello, how may I? It's like,
shall we play a game?
Right, it's not, and it's not Alexa either, where Alexa kind of sounds normal, but you can tell it's not.
Right.
So like, basically what they did in front of the stage full of like 20,000 people is gave a live demo.
Yeah.
And the guy basically said, hey, book me a haircut appointment. For 10 o'clock. And we got a little clip. We got to play this for you because literally this was one of my most jaw-dropping moments. Like I had to watch it 3 times.
We're going to go ahead and play the isolated clip for you.
Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure. What time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard.
Now, as a voice actor, this freaks me the hell out.
You just heard yourself becoming irrelevant.
Yeah, you just rendered yourself useless.
So I saw this and I went down a hole with it earlier this week. You know, Adobe has that product where you could basically, with 20 minutes of someone's voice, make them say anything.
Right.
Then I found a startup called Lyrabird where you record 30 sentences into it and it actually will create your digital voice.
Wow.
So I went into my studio, used my voice, and with 30 recordings, it was close. It was in the uncanny valley close.
Wow.
So if you apparently give it 200 recordings, it can give you your voice back to you with text. You type in text and it will speak back to you in your voice. So how long before IVR voiceover talent is all of a sudden gone?
Right. He's going to type out our podcast from now on. We're not even going to come in. No, but like, did you know?
We'll just have it. We'll just give it the Google links and go read.
Yeah, exactly. Did you notice that like her voice was like inflection?
Yeah.
She's like 10 a.m. Like it all like sounded like there's no way. I don't think there's no way the girl on the other line thought that was AI. There's no way.
One place where she said between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.
Like, yeah. You had that weird stilted. Yeah.
But the rest of it could be someone from Michigan. Like that was a Michigan voice.
But like,
Western voice.
She did the and then like she did the for now. Like, oh, that'll be it for now.
In the male version of that same clip, they had the voice actually said, let me check. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, well, the second part of that clip, he calls a Chinese restaurant. They wanted to make it so, like, if you get frustrated. So he's like, can I book a reservation for Wednesday the 7th? And she's like, what day? He's like, Wednesday the 7th. How many people? He's like, 5. And she kept, like, not answering properly, but he never got upset or like, no, okay, and just kind of set it straight. And it was, honestly, I was like, I'm so floored where this can go or where this can take us in a good way and a scary way. I don't know whether to be excited or like, holy shit.
No,
right.
This is a Black Mirror episode. Just wait, when we're never talking to anybody and AI is sending our texts and our voicemails and like,
well, it's like the story we had last week about, or the last week or the week before, people hiring basically virtual assistants for their dating, on Tinder and that kind of crap to go through and screen everybody and send messages for them.
Could you imagine? So like, I'm just thinking I'm in sales, right? I have inside sales reps that call outbound for me booking meetings.
Holy shit.
Like all I got to do is say, hey, this is, Mr. Wallenspiel is going to be in Florida the week of, could is there any times you're available
on? Yeah.
Or even better than that, like, what's your digital security strategy?
Yeah.
Transcribes everything the person says. Oh shit. Never gets frustrated. Never like rejection.
No.
Whoa. You just saved like $45,000 a year by hiring an AI.
Now and they can call infinite. They call all day.
Now the robocallers are actually going to be robots.
I, for one, welcome our new robot voiceover
overlords.
Yes.
Over the ones that call me that don't speak English right now that say their name's Steve. I'll probably prefer the robot.
Hey, so I know we talked about this when it happened. Number one, let's all have a impending moment of silence for Clout. Cloud is shutting down on May 25th. Breaking news: Cloud is still active.
Who knew?
Until May 25th.
Would you say their Cloud score is
0.0? Yeah.
Oh, the crazy thing is, didn't the guy that started Cloud did it to like
get a job at Twitter?
To get a job. I thought it was doing something with Twitter. Yeah. To get a job at Twitter, ends up selling it for $200 million
to the company that's now shuttering it. Yeah.
And the entire industry, the technology industry, laughs at it like a QR code.
Right.
I did say there was one good thing Cloud did, and it was inspire a really creepy episode of Black Mirror.
True. Yeah.
I rate this interaction. Huh.
Yeah.
God.
But I remember when everybody was posting their Cloud scores, and it was a thing, and it was
no, because me and you were the first ones. I think I even called you that day and said, dude, I think this is bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
will you log in and check this out?
I keep seeing people on LinkedIn using it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. It doesn't look
refuse.
right. I mean, LinkedIn has that. We had to do this at Cisco. It was like an SSI, like a sales,
navigator thing, yeah.
index, right? And we all got ranked, but it was basically on how many followers you have, how many stuff you post, and likes. I kind of get that, but it's not something I'm ever going to announce or put on a resume. Or
right.
This is my cloud score.
My cloud score.
I would probably not hire that person who came in with like, here's my name, my education, and my cloud
Cloud
score.
score. Oh, God.
No.
Bob, your clout score is currently 46.
Out of what?
100.
That's pretty
Dave,
low, Bob.
You are 56.
Oh, yours is better than
I'm
mine.
55.
And what's mine?
I'm looking.
Searching.
Of course, here's the funny
I think
part.
it's because your account's private. I can't.
It's been so long. That's probably still looking at my old Facebook profile.
Your MySpace.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Your friends.
So, hey, we talked about the Equifax breach back in 2017 when it happened. They finally actually released the numbers of who was actually impacted by that.
It is not good.
Dude, 146 million people. 99 million addresses.
Which that 146 million hasn't changed, right? That was
right. That was the number. Yep.
146.6.
Yep.
Right.
99 million addresses, 209,000 payment cards.
So that's your credit card plus your expiration date.
Yep. 38,000 driver's licenses.
Oh, God.
And 3,200 passports.
How the hell does Equifax have passports?
People trying to verify their identity.
Yep.
And they absolutely do that.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. I mean, that's really, and then what do they got? No penalty.
I'm
Nothing has
sorry.
happened.
Sorry,
We were all pissed off for like a month and a half.
If that.
And now nobody cares.
No.
It's like the Captain Hindsight episodes of South Park with the BP oil spill. We're sorry.
Yeah. In 1 week, you'll forget about it.
Right.
But you know who I'm glad I don't work for? Like we pretty much worked for all the big companies, the big three. I work for the big three on the tech side. Neri's worked for big companies. Jeff Bezos at Amazon is completely changing the culture of their meetings. And it's funny. Inc. magazine tries to say it's brilliant. I want to give Inc. magazine a big middle finger.
Yeah.
Basically what they're doing, Jeff Bezos is doing, is getting rid of PowerPoint. And while you may be applauding in your mind, here's what he's replaced it with.
Right. But
So
wait, there's more.
So instead of your 10 slides with 30 bullet points and a thank you at the end with my email address, now you get everything I said in this meeting on a 6-page memo. So for the first half hour in this meeting, you're to sit in this meeting room quietly with your peer group and meeting friends and read line by line, word for word, and digest this memo of the story. And then you're going to talk about it.
So now it's a book club.
Now I have to see. Now here's the thing.
God, you're right.
And the thing
it's now a book club.
And the thing Inc. tried to say is people learn by storytelling. Now, I don't know what kind of meetings you've been in, but when I write a PowerPoint and I have my bullet points, that's to keep me on track during my storytelling.
I'm telling my story.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and go, 10% of sales come from this application.
You don't, but a lot of people do.
There's a lot of people that suck at
slides,
PowerPoint.
word for word.
I understand that a lot of people suck at PowerPoint. But if you're decent at what you do, you're not reading it. You're telling a story, and there's a beginning and an end and a follow-up and action items. And I can't see how you can be more productive sitting there for half an hour reading.
I spent 6 hours today putting together some PowerPoint slides. So half of me is like, okay, cool. But you know what? If I have to take the same data and distill it into a narrative with sentences and subjects and verbs and story.
Proper English.
I don't want to write a term paper for every meeting.
And then even worse, I can barely have people sit and pay attention to me in front of a PowerPoint.
Right.
And I'm a pretty good presenter. So if you're sitting there reading a 6-page document, I'm going to be on my iPad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to be playing Clash of Clans on my phone. There's no way you're going to give me a sit for...
Well, no, I always say
take me 30 minutes to read a 6-page document either. So I
Right.
sit and twiddle my thumbs while everybody catches up.
Well, even when I did webinars, I would say like, hey, you guys got an hour out on your calendar. I'm going to do this in a half an hour. So while you were supposed to be playing Call of Duty during my call, I'll give you that half hour back so you can play Call of Duty then. So do me a favor. Let's knock this out real quick and then we can go from there. Hey, we're going to speaking of Call of Duty, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with the voice.
Wait, you have to go to the bathroom?
Of Call of Duty. No, not duty with a D. Duty, D-U-T-Y.
Oh, I'm just thinking you normally.
No.
Yes, yeah.
He's making excuses.
From Dragon Ball Z, Todd Haberkorn from Motor City Comic Con. This is the IT in the D Show.
And we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen,
Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Snyder from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Lives of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back. This is segment 2, episode 247 of the Motor City Comic Con edition of the IT and the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1 in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy here with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, and Randy. I do the Twitter's Walker. Find us online, ITinthed.com, where we are IT in the D, and
you're still not, and you're about to hate us more.
We love you.
Because we grow, we expand, we move.
So, hey, find us online, like I said, ITinthed.com. Check out our Meet tab, mark your calendars, all that good stuff, and give us a like on the socials. But, hey, it's Motor City Comic-Con time, and we got hooked up once again, where we are joined by... God, this guy is an absolute, looks like a legend in the voiceover business with anime, video games. You probably recognize his voice if you're into anything that we are. Todd Haberkorn's in the house. How are you, sir?
You know, I have to commend you guys. First of all, thank you for having me on. But you have two of the coolest businesses in your town. One is Third Man Records, which I was just at earlier this year. It was awesome. It was one of the best store designs I've ever seen. And then your Shinola factory, so cool. I got a tour from the head dude there, and it's great that those things are in your town, and I love it. I've got to go back.
That's
so,
like one of the that's like one of the things in this town. Like, you set goals for yourself, and when you attain it, you get a Shinola. It's a real big thing with a lot of guys, especially in the business world, and kind of like, hey, you hit this milestone at work, here's a Shinola. So it's kind of become a thing. Like, hey, I'm from Detroit when I travel on business. So yeah, love it being here. We're big fans of the brand.
Yeah, totally. When I got that tour of the factory and the store, and I heard about the ideology behind it and the origin of Shinola itself and where it came from, I was like, okay, going to the store, and I snagged one that day because it's very inspiring to hear the story and to see how much city love is in that business and how much that business gives back. So it's really cool to experience that. So honored to be on.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. So I got to be honest. I can't help but, like, I'm hearing your voice and I feel like I should have a game controller in my hand. I should be like just mashing on buttons and I should be screaming at a 12-year-old.
Well, you know what? That's typically what I do with my friends when we're playing Rainbow Six. Because, first of all, I thought it was my TV. I'm like, okay, I need to get a bigger TV. Maybe that's it. Because then the crosshairs will look bigger. And then when I'm on there, I still can't get my gun up fast enough to come around that corner before I get headshot.
So frustrating.
But I still play. I still give it a shot. But I've loved video games since I was a little kid, and being able to voice the video games that I played when I was a kid. And I can't. There are some games that I would really love to mention right now. The suits would come and snag me, but
I hate when that
part
happens.
of those games is so fun. And when the client's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of this game?" It's like, "Are you kidding me?" I cried so many tears at how difficult that game was when I was a kid. Of course, I've heard of it. So it's surreal to be in that world.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and we've got to interview a couple legends in the voiceover business. One of them, Rob Paulson last week, who did like Snorks and Smurfs and Animaniacs. And then Larry Kenny, who is the voice of Cocoa Pebbles and Cocoa Krispies, and he was the voice of
Count Chocula
and Skittles.
And Lion-O.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Lion-O. That's how we knew him from the beginning. But, I mean, in the anime world, I mean, that fan base is absolutely rabid. How, I guess, more difficult of a life do you have to lead just because of the fan base of anime?
It's funny because I'll meet fans in line, and I just met a fan digitally who had a new child, and they named their baby after Natsu.
Oh, my God.
And it was pretty wild. And I've had fans that come up and get an autograph on their arm, and they go and get it tattooed that night, and then come back and show me the next day.
Wow.
So it's a wild world. It's such the fans are so giving with their love, but quite honestly, I envy them because I don't think I have anything in my life that I love that much outside of my work, my career, and you know, family is a different kind of love. But I mean, you know, it's so cool to see that they love something that fiercely.
I love beer, but I just drink it.
You know,
I don't need to.
Well, I guess, you know, I will correct myself. If there is something that I love that fiercely recently, I would say Infinity War. That was a pretty epic film.
They knocked that out. I'm not going to lie. I went into that movie. I thought I was going to be overwhelmed by the amount of characters and how much was going on. And they masterfully did that movie. They knocked that thing out of the park.
Oh, it was amazing. You know, I saw it when I was in Australia. And Alan Tudyk and I and a couple other people went with the press to go see it Tuesday before it came out.
He will always be alpha to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how many voices he does. He'll always be alpha to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And so we saw it on the biggest IMAX screen in the world. And it was incredible. And so to see it with those visuals, the sound system, the people, it was amazing. Really great film.
Now how do you get started? Like, I would say doing voiceover work and getting work in that business has got to be difficult alone. How did you get started in anime? I mean, are you multilingual? Do you speak Japanese, or how did that come about?
Well, for me, I started out as a stage actor when I was a kid and transitioned into film and on camera, and VO kind of found me. I didn't really seek it out at all. I was going to be an on-camera guy in LA, and that was it. And so when voiceover found me, I was like, well, I mean, I'll try it out and see how far it goes. And I had no idea that it would take me where it's taken me. And I have been grateful for, there are moments throughout my day where I just stand back and am so, I feel so lucky to be in the world and know the people I know and fortunate enough to, you know, touch the lives of fans all over the world and be to drive forward to come meet at a con. And I every time I run into that, I'm just like, man, I hope I live up to this one day. I mean, you don't know, like, I leave dishes in the sink that are dirty, and I don't fold all my laundry right away. Like, I'm not this thing you think I am, but I'm going to try to live up to it, hopefully before I'm an old man. So that's kind of where I sit every day.
Sure.
But it you know, I try to do my best and try to be the best guy I can be and do the best I can behind the mic and in front of it. So we'll see if I succeed. I feel like I got to wait till my obituary comes out to see how well I did. So.
No, Todd, I think one of the most amazing things about your performances is that you have, I mean, most voice actors kind of have their range, right? Like I do one or two voices, and they all kind of sound the same, but you can go from being a young kid to an elderly man in your range. Like, you know, you've played hundreds of roles. What's your favorite and why?
Oh, well, thank you for that feedback. Yeah, my favorite to play, I mean, that's the thing is it kind of sounds like a crazy answer, but I do really enjoy all of them because I get to be things that I wouldn't be cast as on camera. Like I would never be cast as an elderly old man like Tales of Exilia in on the on-camera world right now. I would never be the characters that I play in World of Warcraft. I would never be cast as, and so to get to try to fill those shoes and be in those skins is a fun challenge. And I look forward to it every time I get to do it. And I think that's why I struggle with workaholism is because, you know, when you find something you love to do, don't you want to do it all the time? And so then your brain's like, sure, let's just do it all the time, every day. And so then you blink and, you know, like last week I worked from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. just, you know, voicing and directing and producing and shooting. And I just love it all. And I'm trying to find that nice work-life balance right now. That's kind of my constant struggle.
If you figure that out, please let me know how. Cause yeah, I'm in the same boat.
My God.
Hey, so
you know, I think, you know what? That's an American thing. I think we all do that here in America, but I talk to people overseas and they're like, oh, we take holiday and we love it, and this, that. And I'm like, what is that like?
Yeah, right.
That sounds fun.
Hey, so if people come see you at Motor City Comic-Con this weekend, what should they expect to find to be able to pick up from you?
Well, I've got a ton of new prints. I've got a lot of fun, having done I think I've done around 250 conventions. I've tried to learn a little bit from over the years to see what the fans like, and hopefully I've got prints that they're going to be proud to pick up, and it's from local artists that you'd see on the con scene. So it's I think I've got a lot of variety for them, and we'll see what fans think.
So
awesome.
if you see two middle-aged fanboys with task cams, that's going to be us. So just so you know.
Yeah, they're not tasers; they're recorders. We swear.
Absolutely. Well, I'll get your names tattooed on me.
Oh, nice.
Deal. We'll tat swap.
There we go.
All right. Well, hey, don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we had a limited window on this. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and we'll absolutely stop by and see you this weekend.
Hey, thanks, guys. I look forward to it, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for the time. Good talk. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Todd Haberkorn, ladies and gentlemen, voice actor. You should see this guy's resume.
His resume, 287 roles, I think I read. Like,
oh my!
He's just had so many things in anime that I haven't even seen before. Like, it's fantastic. It's
no,
incredible.
my kid has Crunchyroll. I bet you if I tell her that we talked to him, she's gonna go nuts. Like,
I was really surprised how many people on your wall, Nuri, were freaking out about Paulson last week. I mean, that was well, which I'm sure is one of the reasons why the episode went as psychotic as it did from a numbers perspective. But yeah, so speaking of people interested in stuff and fascinating guests, we do have Mr. Arvell Jones on the line, I believe.
Get out of town.
Good evening, fellas.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing really, really well. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
So how does quick question, how does a good old boy from Detroit get to be like one of the comic book, like, I guess, kingpins of our generation? I mean, you've done everything.
And I'm not going to lie to you. Bob and I and Nuri and we have spent a lot of time at Comic-Cons. I have seen you at a lot of Comic-Cons. Until we actually sat down and read your bio, I did not realize you were you. and now I'm like, wow, we should have spent way more time talking to this guy over the course of the past years that we've been going to cons and doing this.
Well, I'm just figuring out that I'm me too.
So yeah, I mean, it says, you were, doing work for Marvel and DC, all the way back in the 70s. Like, I'm thinking, trying to think, back in the, the pre-internet days and that kind of stuff. Like, how did you break into that world?
I was lucky. Detroit had a really vibrant fan base back then. I ran into a number of guys that would be future stars in the comics industry. We were all trying to break in at the same time. The first person I met was Richard Buckler, who the creator of Deathlock, and when he broke into comics, I was his assistant working on the Fantastic Four, the Black Panther, Deathlock, and whatever else he was working on, Thor and everything else. And then afterwards, I kind of got into it with Tom Orzechowski. We created a fanzine together. Rich worked on it. And once I started creating this fanzine and working on that, I ran into Al Milgram and Jim Starlin, Mike Vosberg, and just a number of various folks that that helped to kind of shape what comics are today. I'm looking back at it right now, and I said, man, we did quite a bit of stuff. Keith Pollard, I can't even name it. Terry Austin. I can't even name everybody that came into the industry around the same time as me. So we all kind of got together on the weekends, on Saturdays, look at each other's work, critique each other's work really hard, and help each other to get to a point where we could get into the industry.
Well, and I think you absolutely need that. So, and one of the things that kind of jumped out at me is, so, you're the co-creator, of Misty Knight, the first African-American female superhero for Marvel. And then you also worked on the original concept art for the teaser posters for Black Panther, when that was coming out. So, like, I'm just curious, like, did you see Black Panther being as huge and widely accepted as it was?
Well, I didn't know how well it was going to be accepted. I always thought that if it were to come on screen, that it would be huge, but there's no way to know. I mean, I would have thought the Fantastic Four would have been huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
And maybe it will sometime.
I think we're all waiting for a version of that doesn't suck.
Yeah, I mean that's a key point. I mean, you look at what Iron Man did for Marvel, and a lot of people are saying they were ready to go out of business, and Iron Man brought them back. And we're all both in our mid 40s. Iron Man was such a character down, wasn't
down
even
the food chain.
Yeah, just so far down the food chain for us that we didn't even think he was relevant. Movie comes out, and it's an absolute blockbuster. And then here we are now, where we're going to get 2 Marvel movies and a DC movie and a Star Wars movie every year for the rest of our lives.
Well, Iron Man was my second regular assignment at Marvel, so I always pictured Iron Man as being big, if it ever did come to the movie screen, because of all the technology and stuff that he, his inventions and some of his crazy villains that he had to face. I thought that and to me, he was a deep character. Dealing with substance abuse, being a rich millionaire playboy wasn't enough. He had to have an alcoholism problem.
Right.
I thought there was a lot in there that would make a great movie, and so when they first announced that, I was really excited, and a lot of the other characters, so like Misty Knight, which is a character I actually created right out of high school. She had a different name. Tony gave her a new name, and we had to negotiate on her powers, he kind of depowered her a little bit, because he said you can't have a character that's more powerful than the lead character. The
sidekick cannot be more powerful.
Can't do it. She's a sidekick. I said, oh, okay. I don't think she sees it that way.
Well, yeah, and folks that watch, Luke Cage on Netflix are familiar with that character.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Simone Missick, actually, I don't know if you know, but the actress that plays Misty Knight is also from Detroit.
Oh, no kidding.
Did not know that.
Yeah. The producer came up to me when I went to when I was at the red carpet and said, did you like Misty Knight? And I said, yeah, I did. He said, did you notice that she's from Detroit? I said, I didn't know that. He said, yeah, in my original bio for the character, she was always a Detroit detective. And, kind of lost that in the comics, but he kind of replaced it with, at least an actress. I really enjoyed that.
I don't want to speak for you, but that's got to be one of the highlights of your career, having something that you created from scratch, being an on-screen hero.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm not, like I said, I don't want to speak for you, but wow, that's got to be cool.
Well, you spoke for me.
Right.
Arvell, speaking of things that you helped start.
Yeah, it was amazing. I sat through that first season, and watched the first 2 episodes while I was in New York. And, I can't describe to you, what that feeling is like. It's like a childhood dream come true. So, and I'm sure every creator, comics creator, they just, they can imagine it, but, I don't know if they believe it when it happens. And I sat there and heard her introduce herself and everything, and went, what? Even though I knew she was going to be in the
right,
in the series. So no, it was great. I'm sure Starling felt the same way with Thanos. And Rich felt the same way with with Deathlock when they both premiered on screen. So it's it's amazing.
So Arvell, talking about things that, you may have started years ago that have now become big. I read that you helped start the Detroit Triple Fanfare, which apparently was the first Comic-Con ever to exist in 1965. Are you surprised that, going from 80 people at the first one to now we have thousands and thousands of people who come out to Motor City? Are you surprised that Comic-Cons have gotten as big as they have over the years?
Certainly I am. If I could have predicted it, I'd be throwing comic conventions today. When I was still in high school at that time, I was helping with the Triple Fanfare, and the Triple Fanfare took a year or two off, and we me and my guys, Tom and Rich and everybody, we just created another smaller show, which we used to hold in the Pickford Shelby in downtown Detroit.
Okay.
We called it a mini-con back then, before the word mini-con was even being used. And we had movies all night, and trading comics all day. And the only thing we didn't have for those mini-cons was a guest. So it was crazy. As a kid, it was a lot of fun, and to see what it's done. I've been to the New York Comic Con and San Diego, and to see where it went. By the way, another fun fact: Shel Dwarf, who was one of the convention organizers for the Detroit Triple Fanfare back in the day, actually helped create the San Diego Comic Con, which became Comic Con International.
Yep. Yeah, crazy.
It's kind of crazy how they've become. Like it's gone from almost like a sub part of our culture to being so incredibly mainstream when people bring their kids and their families out and Motor City is fantastic and New York is fantastic and San Diego. It's just,
well, now you've got a new con firing up downtown this year at Cobo.
Wow.
In August, the Michigan Comic Con.
Those guys, I've been to a couple of their conventions throughout the country. They had a convention in San Francisco, and they do Indianapolis, Indiana, and Tampa, Florida. And all those conventions have been hugely successful. So I'm kind of expecting this one in downtown Detroit at Cobo Hall to be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, a lot of people complain that it's gone away from the comics, and I tried to explain it to somebody. I said, you can buy that comic online, whether it be eBay or Amazon or an online retailer. I can't meet Val Kilmer tomorrow, right? What's your take on that? Because we hear it all the time, like, they don't have a lot of books, they don't have a lot of comics. Are you feel the same way, or are you kind of on Camp Bobby, or where you're like, meeting someone like you it's far supersedes finding that hard to find book because it's easy to find now?
Well, I always enjoyed the fact that comics, for the most part, were hugely accessible when I was a kid, and to see someone that they actually created it, or even back with the Detroit Triple Fanfare, they might have a science fiction writer, or there might be an actor or somebody that they would bring even back then. So I kind of got used to the idea that you're going to see guests at a lot of these conventions. Before that, it was like, what they call the swap meet. And, people would just get together and trade and buy and sell comic books when they could. So, I think the full experience of working, going to these conventions and seeing every aspect, as a comic book illustrator, I thought for a while some of these conventions were kind of getting away from that. But I keep seeing it resurge, over and over again. Also, a little different iteration, like the cosplay aspect.
Right.
It's wonderful to walk in there and see people's interpretation of costumes and people coming up. And as a creator, to see people walk up in costumes of characters that I created and have worked on is another big thrill, So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely.
I'm just happy to see it happen.
Yeah, no, very cool. So if people come see you at at your booth at Motor City this weekend, what should they expect to find?
Well, I have sort of kept with the tradition of what we used to do back in Detroit, back in the day with the Triple Fanfare. And, I critique portfolios and offer, mentoring assistance and, and ideas for how to improve your work so that you could, put out a sellable project. Of course, I have prints and original art that I sell. I got some originals from comics that go back to the beginning of my career, up through new pieces that I do, especially ahead of the convention. I also, upon request, do drawings, on those blank comic book covers or custom pieces. Sometimes I can get 3 or 4 of them done, a day. I used to be really fast and could do like 10 in a day, while talking to fans and everything else, but gotten slow in my old age now. But, I try to get a few out, at every convention. People come up with requests and want to see things happen.
So I'm curious, like how many people do you have on average that walk up to you with a portfolio that they want you to look through?
Well, that happens quite a bit. Myself and Keith Pollard and Bill Loebs have a comic art workshop that we do every year. And if I can shamelessly plug it,
absolutely.
It's comicartworkshop.com, and people can go up there and fill out the form and say, hey, I'm interested, and be put on the waiting list so that we do these. Usually after a convention, we'll do a workshop for kids as well as adults who are interested in the field of comics. And, we take them through everything from, visual and story creation to drawing. And we've been doing it now for, I don't know, maybe about 25 years. It's sort of a secret unless you stop by my booth. We don't really advertise it that much. But then, I got, because of that, and the fact that I was a instructor at the College of Creative Studies for some time, teaching traditional comics and sequential storytelling, I get quite a few of former students as well as people that were interested in the class or people that are on the waiting list coming up and bugging me about when we're going to do it again. Happening. So, on the course of, a day, I couldn't tell you what the number is, but, as people get to know me or whatever, they come up and bring their work all the time.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in. Incredible chat. We are absolutely going to hunt you down and buy some stuff from you this weekend because, it's a thing. It's what we do.
Exactly.
If you ever get a chance to stop by our studios, the walls of the building that we have our studio in are literally we almost have to move because we're running out of wall space from things we buy at Comic-Con.
Kind of a museum in here, actually.
It is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out sometime.
For sure. Yeah, especially as you're a local guy, you should absolutely stop by at some point. All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Jones. We will see you this weekend at Motor City Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you guys.
Awesome. Talk with you then.
Appreciate the time.
All right, so we do not have our next call yet. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll wait for that call to come in, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. This is the IT and the D Show.
And we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back, segment 3, episode 247. This is the Motor City Comic-Con lead-up edition of the IT and the D Show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1 in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, Randy, I do the Twitters Walker, is doing the Twitters. Find us online.
Whoa.
ITinthed.com. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
IT and the D is brought to you by Udemy, the largest marketplace for online learning. Whether you want to learn something new or just sharpen your skills, Udemy has an extensive library of over 65,000 courses taught by expert instructors.
That's a lot.
Ever find yourself thinking, I wish I could do that? With Udemy, you can. From web development to digital marketing to Japanese cooking courses, Udemy has something for everyone. While other online learning companies charge hundreds of dollars per class, Udemy courses start at just $11.99. Plus, each course comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee for risk-free learning. Every day, students around the world choose Udemy to discover new passions, expand their skills, and even change careers. Improve your life through learning. Download the Udemy app to learn anytime, anywhere, or visit www.ude.my/IT today. That's www.ude.my/IT. And thanks for your support.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks, guys.
That's going to be my thing for the summer, I think.
Learn things?
No, the kids told me they have 2,000 hours on The Sims. I know they leave it on all night.
Right.
So I'm like, you guys could have learned Spanish by now. Like what do you?
And Russian.
Right.
And,
right.
Yeah.
To be an expert is 10,000 hours. You're
Right.
1/5.
Go learn Mandarin.
Of being a professional basketball player.
Right.
It doesn't work like that, I know.
So, hey, we did mention we are here live in our studio in Royal Oak. And so kind of interesting news. We've alluded to this before. We did just finalize everything. We are going to be opening up a new studio downtown in a very cool location. If you guys are familiar with the Detroit Shipping Container or Detroit Shipping Company, I believe it's called, it is a area being built out completely out of shipping containers. And it's friggin' amazing, and we're putting a studio in it.
Seriously, that's one of the go look at the renderings online, Detroit Shipping Company.
.com.
And the renderings are absolutely gorgeous. And you can just see this thing coming together right now.
Yeah, because we've been there a couple times throughout the construction process. We were there today for just a walkthrough of, all right, yeah, here are the final touches we need and that kind of stuff. And let's figure out what kind of table gets dropped in there. And wow.
They're sheetrock. They're just starting to sheetrock everything. Yep. There's going to be 6 restaurants, 2 bars, and a side kind of rotating beer tap bar
that may or may not have, I don't know, Falling Down Beer Company.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, may or may not.
These renderings are gorgeous. I'm counting the children in the renderings. It's pretty amazing. Just
right.
How many families are here at the Detroit Shipping Company?
It's kind of cool because it's got the indoor area, the indoor area, and then it's got the outdoor courtyard area, which is where, as you're looking at the renderings, at least the ones on the homepage, the very first graphic that loads. So our studio is going to be on, in the graphic, the second floor, bottom right. So we'll be facing out towards the street and facing in on the courtyard. So yeah.
And looking at the food, Chef Max Hardy and his Asian Caribbean farm to table and, Brujo tacos and tapas, Bangkok 96 street food. It's going to be a really good place to just relax at.
Well, so basically you grab a table.
It's the beer garden
grab a table, you eat what you want. I don't know if you ever, I talked the beer garden concept. You go grab you go grab, but yeah. And, speaking of which, we got, looks like we got our guest on the line.
I believe we do. We have our caller. Who's this?
This is Dexter Vines.
Hey, Dexter. How are you? Thanks for taking the time to call in, man.
Good. I'm glad I set my alarm clock earlier. Otherwise, I would have forgot. So I'm glad it went off. I was like, oh, I got a phone call to make.
See, the guy before you slept through his alarm, so you should have gave him a call.
Good. I'm glad I heard mine then.
Hey, so obviously, we're talking to you because of Motor City Comic Con this weekend. So, what should folks be looking forward to when they see you this weekend?
Looking forward to just seeing me with a big smile. This will be my first convention of the year. So I'm, the shows hadn't beat me down yet. Like when you see me in New York, it's like I'm having fun, but I'm a little beat down. So the first show, I'm a little excited. I got some relatives up that way. Gonna see if I can get them to come out and hang out a little bit. But other than that, should be good times. I'll be kind of pimping my wares. I'm working on Michael Cray for DC Comics.
Okay.
So bring them by, get them signed. I'll have some copies there myself. Some original artwork. We'll be doing some sketches. All that kind of good stuff. So that'll just kind of be me there.
So you've been almost 20 years as an inker for Marvel and DC, which is pretty much everybody on Batman, Superman. List goes on and on.
But I've done Dark Horse, Wildstorm, you name it. I've worked for just about everybody at this point. It's crazy. Actually, over 20 years now.
Oh, nice.
I started probably in '95. I got my first job.
Wow.
So
yeah, we just talked to Arvell Jones before you, who is a penciler. You're an inker. How does I guess how do you choose that path between one or the other?
It kind of happened for me anyway. It happened kind of by accident when I was in high school. And most good inkers can pencil. When I can pencil, I just pencil very slowly. I don't think I could pay the bills penciling. So
right.
My best friend was doing a comic strip for the school newspaper, and he needed some help inking it to get it done. And cheap ballpoint pens, and I was just getting into comics. Myself reading comics seriously at that point also. So it kind of just became together. So I inked, helped him ink this comic strip, and just started kind of finding out about inkers and what do inkers do. And, I was just started reading, interviews with various comic book artists. And I'm from Atlanta, and come to find out there was a group of comic book artists who happened to live in Atlanta, and, it just kind of took off from there.
So how many times do you hear the line from Chasing Amy? You're a tracer.
Not anymore, because now millennials they don't know what Chasing Amy is. So yeah, I used to get that, and you laugh. Like it's strangely enough, it's probably one of the few Kevin Smith movies I love. But so yeah, you don't really hear that too much. But when it comes up, I'm like, you think you can trace? Go for it. I tell people it's easy to say it's not tracing, because if you give the same person the same page and have them quote unquote trace it, it'll look completely different from person to person.
Oh, for sure.
So that's how inking is an art form.
Mine would look like South Park characters, and it'll just
right. So like, if you think you could, because to me, when I hear tracing, it says, "Oh, it's easy." I'm like, well, you think you can do it? Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a piece of paper. Go nuts. So how do you go from high school comic strip to working on like Batman, Superman, and Logan and that kind of stuff?
That was a long, decade in between those two things happening. But I think like most artists, I grew up just loving to draw. It was just something I did for fun. And when I got in high school and met the friend I was just talking about, who was drawing the comic book strip, he was pretty serious about his art. To me, it was just something I did for fun. And seeing his passion and getting into comics right at that same time, it really sparked something in me. And so up to that point, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, I'll figure it out. But I really had no. And I think like most, high school kids, you have no idea what you want to do. But that sparked that interest in me, and I went to my first comic book convention, and I met Brian Stelfreed, who was part of that studio I said lived in Atlanta, and met with Brian. And if you know Brian, even to this day, Brian teaches a life drawing class at the Portfolio Center here in Atlanta. And whenever I have time, I'll go, on Tuesday nights and just watch, try to, do my thing. But you sit next to Brian, he's just a master. But when I talked to Brian, it let me know this little black kid could make a living in comics. And that just, once I kind of, you kind of give yourself permission, like, oh, I can do this. That was it. You
people will actually pay me to do this. Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, I knew I didn't know how to get there, but I knew this is what I wanted to do.
So how much fun had it to have been? We asked Arvell the same thing, and I think it's a great question. Maybe he didn't think so, but like when you guys were doing Civil War and all those things, like, back in the day, and then see those things come to life on the big screen. I mean, how awesome was that just to watch that from afar and just seeing that come to light?
That came in a few ways, actually. I remember when we first started Civil War, I knew that, the editor mentioned, the assistant editor, she mentioned, this is going to be Marvel's event for the year. But other than that, the rest of it just kind of passed over my head. I was like, all right, whatever, I'm making Steve. That's all I care about. Steve McNiven. It's going to be fun. And then they started this countdown clock, and then, Civil War became Civil War. Then, years later when the movie comes out, it's crazy. Also, my girlfriend is a stunt woman. She performed in Civil War.
Oh, very cool.
For us, it was this whole kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe you worked on the comic and you worked in the movie. And it was just, Civil War is just, And then to see, on the big screen, it was just amazing.
I mean, for us, just to see movies like Transformers and Batman vs Superman that were filmed in Detroit, just to see like, oh my God, there's Fort and Gratiot street sign. Hey, there's the Russell.
Right.
I mean, for us, we think that's cool. Just seeing stuff that's home. I can't imagine saying
it brings you in even more. So yeah, you just get caught up in the whole experience even more so.
We actually liked Red Dawn because it was filmed here.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
I liked watching it.
So, I mean, obvious question. I mean, so, you're down in Georgia. Obviously, pretty much the biggest thing going on in Georgia is The Walking Dead. Do you ever look at, what's gone on with that as far as, a graphic novel to a TV series and think, all right, here's something that I've done that could follow that same path?
All right. Well, speaking of, also my girlfriend, she's the stunt double for Michonne on Walking Dead.
No way!
Wow.
Yes. So it's kind of cool. So but she doesn't follow the comic or the show. She's just like, I'm going to work, so whatever. But yeah, to see it's curious. It's funny. The Walking Dead is one of the few things I read pretty religiously, but I collect the trade. So it's like I got caught I was so happy when I actually caught up to the show and passed it just to see what things they incorporate from the book into the show, and vice versa. But it definitely just, it's just seeing that little independent comic become what it has become. It definitely is a creator. It makes you think, man, it also gives you that, I could be the next, Robert Kirkman,
Well, you look at
something out there.
You look at what's going on at the cons. It's like Motor City Comic Con for the last few years has turned into the Walking Dead cast signing show cons.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I haven't been to this show since the late 90s. So this should be.
It's grown a little.
Like going to it for the first time again, really.
It's grown a little bit.
And there's a bar attached to it now, so that's usually where you'll see us.
Okay, cool.
But like
I'll
years,
definitely be in there having my favorite rum and coke.
Right.
Hopefully they have some Kraken, but if not, I'll go with whatever they have.
How nice! We actually have that. We actually keep that on stock here in the studios.
Oh, we do.
Oh, I love you guys. I'm like, hey, anytime we have some Kraken, it's all good.
So yeah, I mean I don't think this year will be as crazy as it was in the past because we had Stan Lee here a couple years ago, Shatner here, Adam West and Burt Ward here. This year we've got a great lineup this year, but the traffic. I mean, shoot, we had 65,000 people last year.
Yeah,
I mean it's crazy. Yeah, I mean all 3 days are absolutely packed.
A lot bigger than it was when last time I was there. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, they listen to the audience. Or the fans, and they've made changes, and it's been really smooth and really great show the last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
excellent. I'm doing an inking panel on Friday afternoon, I believe. So anybody
cool.
interested in finding out a little bit more about the wacky world of inking, swing on by.
If you hear two middle-aged guys with a Tascam yelling, "What's a tracer?" That's us.
Just throw something at us. We'll be good.
Right.
Roger that.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend, and let's get that rum and coke and talk shop.
Look forward to it.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care, guys.
All right, folks. Dexter Vines, 25-year comic veteran in being an inker for everybody. I mean, seriously, this is my life's work. I've done it all. I mean, how cool! Like, seriously.
Hey, so one thing we would absolutely be remiss if we didn't mention is, one of the big one of the things they were promoting very, very heavily with Motor City this weekend was the reunion of a lot of the cast of Superman, the original movie, just because it's the 40th anniversary. And one of the people that was scheduled to attend was Margot Kidder, who unfortunately unexpectedly died yesterday. So I know Motor City is putting together a whole thing that they've got. Attendees are going to be able to visit her booth on her memory. There's a panel that's going on at 3 p.m. on Saturday on Speaker Room 5 with the Superman actors Jeff East, Jack O'Halloran, and Aaron Smolinski. I'm sure they'll be talking about that there as well. Obviously, she's going to be missed. She was the first Lois Lane that many of us knew.
But rest in peace.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, so on that downer of a note,
Yeah,
hey.
good call, Dave.
Well, no, but so, don't forget, so Motor City Comic Con, you can find everything out at motorcitycomiccon.com. You can find us. We are, I believe, in booths 603 and 605, if I recall correctly. We're like right just inside, like once you get in, take a quick left, we'll be right there. You'll see us with we got t-shirts, we got tank tops, we got stickers, we got cards, we got wristbands,
candy.
We got that's right. You need a piece of candy. We got those because we suck the kids in, and then the parents have to come over to track down their kids, and then we talk to the parents. That's how that works.
Want to start a podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
And Motor City is 12:30 to 7 on Friday, 10:30 to 7 on Saturday, and 10:30 to 5 on Sunday. And if you have an advance ticket, you get in 30 minutes earlier.
Yep. And then, like as Bob alluded to several times, you'll be able to find us in the bar. That's where we'll be
After 5:30?
Well, or sometimes before. Sometimes it's take a lap. Like when we've got a lot of shows that are going to be going. Actually, that's a good thing to point out. So the Detroit Red Wings alumni are going to be in our booth recording Saturday from 4 to 6, I believe, if I recall correctly. So we'll have some former players and those kind of folks sitting down and talking. Sticks and pucks and all that fun, happy some old time hockey. And hopefully they get, D-Mac stops by because he's always a trip when he's got a mic in front of his face.
He's just spinning up a new podcast I saw.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so very cool. So hey, I guess that's a wrap, everybody.
We're going to wrap things up for episode 247. I'd like to thank Todd Haberkorn, Arvell Jones, and Dexter Vines for hanging out with us. We sincerely appreciated the time. Those were fun conversations. Also like to thank Microsoft, Eero, and Udemy for keeping the lights on. Thank you for the support. On behalf of Bob, Dave, and Nuri and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you this weekend. Drive careful. Beat it.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash. You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Make the run.
The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the trees.
Fear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy. Shut up, Mimsy. Shut up, Mimsy.
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.